Everything and everyone who was banished to the Dark Aether is starting to come back. Items are seeping back into our reality, and old characters who were gone are starting to show remnants of themselves again. Dr. Monty, the Shadow Man, and now in the Reckoning ending with the return of Richtofen, Takeo, Nikolai and Dempsey. But this was always the plan. If you take yourselves back to Cold War Zombies, the main man for the storyline, or one of them, Craig Houston, said, don't be surprised if some things from the old timeline don't stay dead. Up until this point, when it comes to actual people, we hadn't officially seen anyone, but we had clues even way back in Cold War that Takeo was in the Dark Aether, that the items of clothing Dr. Monty was wearing at the time he was banished there was still lying around. A lot of people believe, because this is the Dark Aether saga, everything from World at War II Black Ops 4 was closed off and forgotten. But that was never the case. Because the same Dark Aether still exists, there was always the chance it was all going to come back eventually. Have you ever wanted help getting better at a game? Have you ever wanted a character skin but it's too expensive? Well, the sponsor of today's video, PlayHub, could be right for you. PlayHub is a global gaming marketplace where gamers can trade with each other directly, so you can buy and sell in-game currency, skins, top-ups, and so much more. On PlayHub, you are not buying from the company, you are buying directly from other players, which allows you access to better prices, more flexible deals, and one account for buying and selling. Everything happens between players, fully supported by PlayHub's secure system. As you can see, there are loads of different services to choose from for multiple games. Looking at the skins available for Call of Duty, there are a lot of options to unlock the Dark Matter camo or the Nebula, or my favourite service, which I think my friends need, is coaching, where other players will literally coach you to get better at the game, and you can even look at the reviews to see how good the seller actually is. If you are interested, go ahead and check it out for yourself, and don't forget to use my promo code AMAZING up on screen now to get yourself a discount. Again, the link is in the description, and thank you to PlayHub for sponsoring today's video. So in Black Ops 6 Zombies, this is a part of the main Easter egg, but you can just find it playing the game regularly. In the Executive Suite and Richtofen's office, you will find 6 documents just lying around, which contain information about items of clothing, for the most part, that were found on Samantha when she became trapped in the Dark Aether the first time back in Firebase Z. If you guys can't remember the story, Samantha infiltrated Outpost 25, you can see the clothing she is wearing, but she was captured by Peck and thrown into the Dark Aether on the orders of Richtofen. And whilst she was in there, doing whatever she had to do to survive, she found items of clothing just lying around and kept some of them. When she was rescued 3 days later, we saw her outfit was totally different to what she was wearing when she entered. She was now wearing things that she had found within the Dark Aether. A set of goggles, a scarf, a katana, a gas mask, a military looking uniform. When we first saw this in Cold War, remember this was pretty early on, a lot of people made the connection that, hang on, that looks like Takeo's katana, hang on, that looks like Dr. Monty's scarf, but not exactly. No one really knew for sure, but the idea was planted. And well, in the Reckoning, it kind of sounds wrong just calling it Reckoning, doesn't it? Whatever, in the latest Zombies map, there are documents pertaining information about these items Samantha had on her from her time in the Dark Aether. So this first one talks about her wristwatch. Richtofen wrote, during her first sojourn in the Dark Aether, this timepiece anchored Samantha's sanity in a realm where time is cruelly twisted. She used this watch to track time in the Dark Aether. This next file speaks about her combat goggles, meant to protect Maxis from Ethereum particles during her transformative stay in the Dark Aether. Her eyes turn purple anyway, but at least the goggles look cool, so that's what they were for. A lot of people said these looked like Nikolai's goggles. Having compared them, they're not the same, they are different. I do feel if Treyarch wanted us to believe these were Nikolai's, they could have very easily just reused that asset. And even looking at the new version of Nikolai in the ending cutscene, the goggles he is still wearing don't look the same to the ones that Samantha wore, so I don't think these were Primus Nikolai's, they're just a random pair she found to protect her eyes. But they didn't work anyway. The next document talks about the katana she had on her. Maxis found this sword from the first time she was trapped in the Dark Aether. No clue how a World War II Japanese officer's weapon was there to begin with. Now, having compared this to Takeo's katana, I can tell you, this is his. It's exactly the same. Oddly, there are actually 2 different katanas Takeo has used in the old timeline, but this is identical to one of them, so this was definitely Primus Takeo's katana that Samantha found in the Dark Aether. Richtofen's comments on how he's confused this even got into the Dark Aether in the first place is confusing to me, because the entirety of the multiverse was banished to the Dark Aether, so Okay, yes, it's an old item, but it's not that bizarre. More importantly though, this was a clue we were given 4 or 5 years ago back in Cold War that we thought might be Takeo's. It looked exactly the same, but just the idea of that I think was a bit too much for people to comprehend that Samantha actually had Takeo's katana. What this means then is after their deaths at the end of Tag to Toten, it's a possibility their dead bodies were banished to the Dark Aether, or maybe not. We never saw it happen, but I have said it a couple of times, because they didn't have their souls at that point. Could they have faded away, their bodies ceased to exist, but their items of clothing were still banished to the Dark Aether? Something similar must have happened in order for Takeo's katana to get in there. Another document that can be found in Richtofen's office is this one, which talks about the scarf around her neck, reading another souvenir from Maxis's first Dark Aether imprisonment. Original owner unknown. A severely worn monogram only retains the letter M. Surely not for Maxis. There are only 2 characters besides from Samantha who go by the initial M: Dr. Maxis, her father in the previous timeline, and Dr. Monty. Now the interesting thing is, we have seen the initial M be related to Ludwig Maxis before, but the red scarf is synonymous with Dr. Monty. Even now when you look at it on Samantha, after she is rescued from the Dark Aether, it doesn't look anything like Dr. Monty's scarf, to be honest. It could just be because Dr. Monty didn't wear it like this, and also because it's been in the Dark Aether for such a long time without anybody wearing it. It's clearly worn away, it's dirty, it's got holes in it, whereas when Monty wore it, it was pristine. I mean, this is obviously Dr. Monty's scarf, so what this confirms to us is he was banished to the Dark Aether, exactly as we were told in Tag to Toten's ending.
When we are gone, so too is everything that spewed forth from the Aether. Element 115, the Apothecars, even Monty himself, all of it will be banished to where it belongs. The Dark Aether.
What happened to him after, we never found out. Considering Samantha's found his scarf means it's no longer on him. Could that be because he is dead? Or could that be because he just lost it? The thought of that's really interesting, because Monty at one point was essentially a god, but after the cycle was broken and he became trapped in the Dark Aether, you would think he was no longer the most powerful being to exist, because many other creatures way bigger than him resided in there, including Order, Cortifex, and the Forsaken. I'm also wondering, when he was banished here, would that mean he would have lost his powers? If so, then he would have been defenseless and probably consumed pretty quickly. But if not, maybe he would have had a fighting chance against elder gods like Cortifex and the Forsaken, depending on if he was still alive or was dead by that time. Remember, Cortifex, Nauticus, Syraxis and Bellicar existed around the same time that everything was banished into the Dark Aether. That was how they found out that Earth existed in the first place, because all of these items from Monty's realm were banished there. So he would have been there at the same time as Cortifex, and if Monty ended up outliving him, then he would have been in there at the same time as the Forsaken. Since we've had no mention of him, I can only assume he's either dead, which is why Samantha's found his scarf lying around, or he's been hiding in the shadows, surviving, waiting until the moment that he can rise again. Maybe the Shadow Man is not the mystery benefactor Panos has been talking to, and it's Dr. Monty instead. Or what if it's both of them combined into one? In my opinion, that would be an amazing twist on the story. There are 2 more documents you can find though. Samantha's BND badge. This says, before the Requiem outbreaks, my progenitor Samantha Maxis was an intelligence agent in the West German BND, an unsung hero of the Cold War. And then the final document is Notso's collar, which is Samantha's dog, and it says, the happiest memories I inherited from Samantha Maxis revolve around her dog Notso, whom she left to Dr. Elizabeth Gray. Perhaps that can still be arranged. So the big question in all of this for me are Dr. Monty's whereabouts. Is he dead and that's how Samantha found his scarf? Could he have been killed by Cortifex or the Forsaken? We do know the Forsaken consumes others and then takes their powers for himself. We believe, although unfortunately it was never confirmed, the Forsaken may have ate Cortifex. Or is Monty still alive? In the cycle, he was not a regular being. Whether he went back to that after the cycle was broken, I don't know, but if not, and he did still have his powers, then there's a very high chance he's still alive. And you wouldn't blame him for wanting to find a way to restore the old multiverse and regain his power, as he was the closest thing to a god you could imagine, and would probably do anything to get that back. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed the video today. If you have, drop a like rating, make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.